Everyone, welcome back to OZV Live. I'm your host Xander. I'm the marketing director for OzVenture 2021, and tonight we're joined by the National Expeditions team, who's going to give you a bit of a taste of what's in store for our expedition component of the program. We've been really lucky over the last few weeks, and we've seen COVID rates start to drop around the country. Community transmission is generally down, and New Zealand looks like it's COVID free. So we're seeing really positive results, and hopefully we can all leap back into adventure this summer. We've been having a lot of questions from everyone around when the registrations are going to close, and we can officially announce the registrations are closing in 6 weeks on the 24th of July. So if you haven't signed up yet, start looking at your options, start really seriously considering what expeditions you can do, and sign up with your friends, because the more people you get to go, the better it's going to be. Some people were asking on Facebook as well, if you sign up, is there any discounts we can give you on merch codes? Well, we're excited to say that for the next month, we're going to be able to give you a 10% off discount with the coupon code GIVEME10 in full caps. We're going to put it on the bottom of the screen. And also that we've got plenty of merch in stock, including hoodies, and battery banks are in stock now, which are also wireless charging. And for everyone who is interested in the Whitsundays expedition, we've finally got some information around that, and we should be able to share it with you on the show tonight. So we've got Dink, who is our National Expeditions Director. How are you, Dink?
Yeah, tip-top, thank you. How are you?
Pretty good. How's everything looking on the expeditions front?
Busy. Yeah, busy. We're catching up on things now after a couple of months of not being able to do a great deal, but I'll go through that a bit further soon. But yeah, we're certainly got a lot of exciting things happening.
Awesome. It's great to have you. And joining Dink, we've got Rose, who is a member of his team.
How's it going?
Good. Rose, you've not been on the program before. So for people who may not know who you are, what's your history like in scouting, and what's your role in OzVenture?
Well, I actually started out as a girl guide. That's a
Oh,
little known fact. But I joined a venture unit and have been with Scouts since. Up until recently, was a rover with Coogee Rovers and a venture leader with First Naui Venture Unit. Working on OzVenture, I'm running the Alpine Resort with
Awesome.
Sarah Norris.
Thank you for joining the program. And finally, we've got Owain, who is our Youth Engagement Director. Welcome to the program, Owain.
How you going?
Good. How are you, mate?
Pretty good.
And where are you joining us from today, Owain?
I'm actually in Orange today.
Nice. At uni?
No, I'm living with my brother and sister.
Cool. What is your role on OzVenture? What's some history in scouting for you, Owain?
So I'm currently a Caringbah rover, and I hold the position of youth engagement for OzVenture, which pretty much means I make sure that it's not an event planned by just old people. And I have been to multiple big events, so I've experienced venture events.
So for people who may not know what a youth engagement team does, could you possibly highlight some of the decisions your team's been integral in the making of the project so far?
So we pretty much put together a base list of all the expeditions. We also helped put together the base list of the on-site activities and the off-site activities for the core phase. We also will help decide what entertainment you guys get, those sort of things.
Fantastic. What part of the country are these venturers and rovers from?
All over the place. We've got people from Queensland, Victoria, and New South Wales. We also have some people from South Australia and Western Australia as well.
Sweet. Now, Dink, we've had a lot of questions recently. People are eager to know more about the Whitsundays expedition. What can you tell us?
hot off the press is what I can tell you. I've literally only just received this today. And a big shout out to Peter and the team from Far North Queensland Scouts for helping us out here. As a bit of background, all of the other expeditions that we've put together, we probably spent 6 to 9 months in planning them. These guys have managed to pull something together in just over a month, which is a phenomenal effort all round. So, beginning with a big shout out to them. Now they're obviously locals to the area. They know the area quite well. Whitsundays is an incredibly popular holiday destination, and certainly a bucket list item for many people. And we want to give as many venturers as we can, the opportunity to head there. So high level, what I can tell you, I mean, it is still to be refined a little bit, but this is broadly what it will look like. 8 days. Staying on a place called Lake Proserpine, which is just within the Whitsundays there, kind of in the heart of it. And we wanted to try and keep it similar to the theme of what Fiji was, so a mix of water and land-based activities, and that is certainly what this one has. So there will be at least 3 days, from what I'm looking at here, maybe 4 of water-based activities. And when I say water-based activities, I'm referring mainly to activities on the Great Barrier Reef. So be that there's a sailing experience here on a maxi racing yacht. For those who may not know what a maxi racing yacht is, that's the bigger boats that cruise through the Sydney to Hobart. That's what they'll be spending the day on there. There's a couple of different snorkeling adventures in here for what I'm seeing. There's also the chance or the experience to go to the magnificent white sands of Whitehaven Beach for another snorkeling day there. There's jet boating, there's kayaking, there's hiking around the rainforest, which are there. So it's jam packed. There's a stack of things to do there, and like I said, it's pretty closely matched to what the overall theme of Fiji was going to be, but obviously doing it in far north Queensland.
Is it running for the same length of time?
It is, yeah, it is. We wanted to try and keep that pretty close to the mark for what Fiji was. So yes, it is. You'll actually get a little bit more there depending on where you're coming from, because it's not as far to travel. But yeah, so 8 days, probably more 7.5, because the last day is travelling to Sydney to be part of the core camp. So yes, 8 days of adventure in and around the greater Whitsundays area.
And we can't lock in a price yet, but it's looking like this is going to be a very affordable tropical adventure, right?
Certainly will be, yeah. So as a price guide, I may get into a bit of trouble saying this, but as a price guide, we're looking at around the $1,500 a head. That doesn't include flights, but obviously we're not travelling to Fiji, so it's going to be cheaper again. So that's what we're looking at. Still bunk room accommodation. It's not camping. And everything else that's included is all there. So further details on that will be released within the next week. There'll be a highlights package come out in the next few days, I imagine. Like I said, I've literally only just got this today, so we're just sharing out there what we can.
Yeah, our teams will be working really hard to get that out to you as fast as possible. So stay tuned, follow our Facebook page, follow our Instagram, because that news will be there first. Dink, you also are in control of all the expedition resorts. Last time you talked to us about Camp Heathcote, which isn't a resort, but we thought we'd get you back on the program today to talk about resorts and give people an idea of what they can expect from these expeditions.
Yeah, to explain the differences, and Rose might chime in on this as well, because she's actually running the Alpine one based in the snowy mountains of New South Wales. But what we wanted to do was similar, I think, to what they did for AV 2018. They had a range of expedition hubs where it wasn't just one expedition based out of one particular place. So you'd be spending 5-6 days with the same group of people. We've got three expedition resorts which we're running. One of those being the Alpine Resort, as we mentioned. The other is called the Sydney Resort, based in and around Sydney at a camp called Pennant Hill Scout Camp. There's 4, sorry. We're also heading to Mount Kira, which is in the Wollongong or Illawarra region of New South Wales. And then heading to the Blue Mountains. That's kind of our more extreme activity type style is what we're looking at there. The differences with the resorts is that there's no set itinerary that everyone will follow. Essentially, the people who go to those resorts, they have the chance to build their own program and choose what activities they want to take part in whilst they are there at that resort. There's a menu of activities that they can choose from, most of which will be included in what they're paying to go to that expedition. You'll be able to build a program of activities out of what you've already paid. There will also be, at some of the resorts, the opportunity to pay a little bit extra if there's a really exciting activity that you want to be part of. The two examples I can think of there off the top of my head are those who are going to Mount Kira. The option there is there's a skydiving experience coming out of Mount Kira, which we can't include that in the upfront cost because not everyone's going to have the chance to do it. But if you want to do that, then you have the opportunity to pay a bit extra for that. The other one off the top of my head is for the Blue Mountains. There's a helicopter flight in and around the Blue Mountains and checking out all the sites through there. So there's some optional activities, optional extras, which you can choose to do. But just to be clear, all of the activities that people will choose from, or the opportunity is there to build a full program out of what they're paying up front. So if they don't want to pay anything extra, they don't have to, but they still get the choice of those activities to be part of.
So adventurers really get to control and choose their adventure with these resorts.
They do. Yeah, they get to control the action. If I can, grab a theme of an adventure park in Sydney, which we're making use of as well. Yes, they'll build what they want to do. Those activities are being finalised at the moment. What's listed on the website is a guide of what we're looking to offer.
Yeah.
We're probably going to be able to offer all of those plus a few extras. But with the way that everything has happened within New South Wales and broadly the world at the moment, a lot of our activity providers have been closed recently. So we're only just starting to get back into contact with them to lock everything in. So by September, the aim is that if you've chosen to go to the Alpine Resort and spend 6 days with Rose, why wouldn't you? It's going to be a good fun time. The Alpine team will be in contact with you and say, these are the activities which you can choose from, and you will build a program for yourself out of that. So you won't necessarily do, let me take a step back. Within the resorts, they're split into they'll all be broken up into venture units, as we explained last time. But the difference there is that you may not necessarily do all of the activities that everyone else in your venture unit is doing. So you'll get to spend most of the time with your particular unit, but you'll get to do activities with a broad range of people who are all staying at that particular resort.
Yeah. So just to make sure that it's really clear, so what, for example, if you go with Rose to the Alpine Resort, how is that going to differ to the Sydney Resort?
Yeah, so it comes down to the activities which we can put on offer. And we've purposely put the resorts in places where the activities we can offer are pretty particular to that part of the world. Now, heading down to the Alpine base, there's obviously everything that the Snowy Mountains has on offer. Although it's not going to be snowing, fingers crossed, hopefully, it probably will be. But there'll be certainly snow on the caps of some of the mountains there. But they're based in and around what you can do in the Snowy Mountains during the summertime, which for a lot of people heading to that part of the world in summer, there's a lot more to do there than there is in winter. So that's why we've put the resorts in particular places. For the Blue Mountains, say, that gives us the opportunity there for canyoning, abseiling, mountain biking, everything through the mountains. Heading to the Alpine Resort, it's pretty close to the beaches of Wollongong, so it's got a beach theme. And the Sydney
Mount
Resort.
Kira Resort there, Dink.
Sorry, Mount Kira, my mistake. Thank you. So heading to Mount Kira there, it's got everything, all the beaches of the Illawarra, plus there's a whole range of land-based experiences around that area as well. And the Sydney Resort, I guess, is more the tourist destination for those who haven't been to Sydney before and want to see what it's all about.
Yeah. So it's really important that people get on the website, they look at these expeditions on offer, and they really work out what's their interest and how these resorts can cater to their needs.
Correct. Yeah. So if you only want to do adventurous activities, they will be on offer out of all of those resorts. But then there's a mix of, dare I say, non-adventurous activities or more touristy-based activities if you want to do that, or if you want to have a mix. It's completely up to you, and that's exactly why we've designed those resorts that way. So you build a program that suits you.
And swapping to Rose now, outside of the expedition resorts, which are great because they can cater to such a wide range of interests, we've got a couple of really more niche specific expeditions on offer at OzVenture. Could you run us through what that area of the expedition program is looking like?
Yeah, so that is all where you're signing up to an expedition and you've got your set itinerary straight up. One of the expeditions that I found super interesting that I was going to focus on today is the React and Respond one, which is a really interesting activity for anybody that's already got an existing interest and experience in some outdoor areas, especially navigation and vertical. So yeah, looking at that, it's running out of Sydney. It's based out at Camp Coots, which has got a beautiful creek, bunkroom accommodation, a nice little swimming hole. And you come out of it with qualifications in search and rescue or remote first aid or vertical rescue. So it's very much you choose what stream you're most interested in.
So when venturers turn up to the camp, do they choose beforehand, or is it so they're going to be funneled into one of three things, is it?
So choosing beforehand.
Yep.
For each section, there is a bit of a prerequisite. For search and rescue, there's you need to come in with some good fitness and basic navigation skills. So you need to know how to read a compass, use a map.
Yep.
Remote first aid, you need to have a current first aid certificate.
Yep.
And for vertical rescue, they've sort of put in a rope qualifications or logged experience. So looking for people who know how to abseil, put themselves on rope. Self-rescue is ideal. Yep. And if you're unsure about that section, I'd really recommend getting into contact with the OzVenture team and making sure, so it's a great resource to have.
Cool. And so people, they spend their time the week before OzVenture and they come out with qualifications that they can use in the real world.
That's correct.
Fantastic.
Nationally recognised.
Thank you. So how many people roughly is this opportunity open to?
So it's actually quite limited. So each stream, your search and rescue, remote first aid, and vertical rescue, it's 10 participants and 2 leaders per section. So 30 all up, 30 venturers and 6 leaders all up, but only 10 per stream. It really gives you that close interaction with your trainers so you get the most out of the course.
Yeah, but it also means that spots are really limited. So that if you're interested in getting this training experience, sign up now, and it is open to leaders as well.
Yes, that's correct.
It's going to be a fantastic opportunity for people to learn some new skills. And if you have missed out on being outdoors, getting to do rope and being in the bush, it's going to be a fantastic experience to kind of readjust to that camping environment and catch up for lost time with isolation. Definitely
a good place to re-immerse.
Sweet. Thank you for joining our program, Rose.
It's a great place. Sorry if I can just butt in there as well. It's a great spot, as we said, just to really push the qualification side of it. So for those who want to come away with those real qualified skills in those particular areas, there's only a couple of expeditions that are concentrating on that. And this particular one is the one that really does that, and it's backed by the Scouts Australia National Adventurous Activity School. I just want to get that name correct. So, nationally recognised qualification, industry recognised qualification. So, for those who have got an interest in that or looking for it, that's certainly the place to go.
So if someone was looking at, going on to TAFE afterwards and doing a certification in outdoor rec, would this help towards that? 100%.
Yeah, they would be able to get a lot of recognition of prior learning or RPL for certainly a lot of that course. So this would certainly be the one to jump at.
Thank you, Dink, and thank you, Rose. Now, Owen, Dink lightly touched upon before that there's the opportunity to do a bit more tourism with OzVenture for people who may not be familiar to Sydney or may want to flesh out and explore more of their home state, what is on offer in that space?
So if you've ever wanted to camp in the middle of Sydney Harbour, be able to see the Sydney ferries going past, even be able to see the Harbour Bridge, then Cocktail Island expedition is your choice, because you get to camp in the middle of Sydney Harbour and get to see the Harbour Bridge, so you get to see the city lights from literally your tent, which is pretty cool. Part of the expedition, you'll also be able to explore the city, explore the historical sites around the rocks, and you get to actually walk across the Harbour Bridge, not over it, but across it. And then you also get to go over to Manly and spend a day at the beach, go shopping, that sort of thing. Manly's really nice, and I'm sure everyone's seen what Manly Beach is like. And if you haven't, get on there and see that. And then you also get to check out the Q station and do a ghost tour there, which will be pretty cool. And then the last day you get to spend a day at Lynn Park, which is an awesome place to spend your last few hours with your expedition before you head to site.
Iconic place to spend. Iconic place to spend the last day.
Sorry.
Is this a shorter expedition?
Yeah, so this one's only 3 days, but it's pretty jam-packed and it will definitely be worth it.
So it's definitely an option to explore if you're more sensitive to time or price, but also, Dink, is this the only expedition with a ghost tour on it?
Yes, it is actually. I'm just trying to wrap my head around it. So yes, it is. The Q station, or quarantine station is what it's called. For those who live in Sydney or know anything about it, it's a very popular place for ghost tours particularly. Look up on the history of the quarantine station and you'll understand why. And I've got it. Yeah, a friend of mine who works there, and he gets freaked out every time he goes there. So it's a fascinating place on Sydney Harbour, and it's certainly if you've got any interest in the paranormal, I guess that's the place to go.
Owen, is this more cabin accommodation? Venture is actually in tents here on the harbour?
So you'll be needing to bring your own tent and camp. It's camping and in your own tents.
So it's one of the few expeditions where you'll actually get a ghost tour, you'll get to see the city of Sydney, but you'll also get to camp in a tent if you're really after that camping style accommodation.
Yeah, definitely.
Probably more glamping for where they're going to be. I wouldn't say they're roughing it on Sydney Harbour. So it's
very upmarket.
Very much so. Yeah, very much so. But yeah, have a look at the history of Cockatoo Island and what it's become. And as Owen said, the camping is literally on the waterfront. You'll roll out of your tent and you'll see the harbour straight away.
So they're getting first class camping accommodation, as good as you can get in the tent. They're getting a lot of historical sites. They're getting to go to Manly on the ferry, and they're going to get a walk across the Harbour Bridge, and they get a ghost tour.
Bang for your buck, Central. Let's call it that.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you, Owen, for joining us today. Thank you, Dink. Thank you, Rose. It's been really good to get a better idea of what's on offer with National Expeditions. They're selling out really fast though. So registrations are closing in 6 weeks on July 24th. So make sure that you talk to your unit, you see where your friends are going, or maybe if you want to go have an adventure alone and really meet other people from around Australia, this is also your chance to do that. For everyone who is interested in merch codes, at the top of the show, we were talking about how for the next month, we've got a special discount of 10%, and that is give me 10 in all caps, so with the number 10 at the end. So that will give you 10% off on all our merch. We're quickly getting that shipped in from overseas as things are starting to look more positive with Corona. It's being a lot easier for us to get that merch into the country. So make your orders. We'll get them out to you as soon as possible, and make sure you sign up. Thank you everyone who joined the show today. It's been a great time, and hopefully we'll all see you in January next year.
Certainly will. Thanks, Anna. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. See ya.
Bye.